Hey guys, welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe and I'm joined by Nathan. And this week we're talking about one of my favorite Nintendo games. One of like, I don't know, kind of a big one, kind of not a big one, who knows? It's
Yeah, hard to
Pikmin!
say. Yay!
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I said not a big one considering the size of the characters in this game as well. It's a tiny thing game. Yeah,
I
it's all
mean,
about
you're not wrong though,
small
isn't it?
creatures. Yeah,
It's kind of a hard one because it's like it is popular to some extent, but is
yeah.
it big? Is it small? I don't know.
It's weird, isn't it? Because like I don't know, this franchise started in the GameCube era, and realistically, like
2001. I looked it up
yeah,
earlier. Pikmin
2001, yeah,
Pikmin came out in 2001.
and
It's
it's
like
Miyamoto's
forever ago.
creation as well, right? Isn't it? Like,
Yeah, Miyamoto designed it.
so it's like one of those ones where like. Obviously, from Miyamoto, it's not the biggest game that's come from him. However, it's still quite a big Nintendo franchise. Like, I mean, it's in Smash Bros. You've got like I don't know, loads of different merch out for it and stuff. I'd say it's like it's like not as big as like your Metroids, your Zeldas, or anything like that. But it's like I don't know. Would you say it's like as big as Fire Emblem, or would you like say not as big?
I'd say
What do you?
not as big because Fire Emblem's had more sequels. I will say though, in terms of franchises, it's bigger than Star Fox and it's bigger than F-Zero because we still get more of these games.
Yeah.
So
Would you say it's
I
bigger
hate
than
to be
Star
that
Fox? I
guy,
think.
but
Do you think Star Fox is like in terms of popularity? Like,
okay, like if you're looking at like game releases and things,
yeah, yeah.
I'd say maybe logically, maybe roughly on the same level. But if it's like fan response, maybe Star Fox has a bigger
Mm,
fan base than
I think
Pikmin.
so. Yeah, just because again, Star Fox is an older series as well. We have to remember this. It
Yeah.
started out like on the SNES, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
No,
like
actually, I think was it SNES or was it NES?
might be
No, I
NES
think it
actually. Yeah.
was. No, I think it was the SNES because it
Was it
needed
SNES?
a Super FX chip.
Yeah. Well, that's Star Fox for you. But we're not talking about Star Fox this episode. We're talking about Pikmin. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
little
like,
plant boys.
oh man, honestly, like Pikmin's one of like my favorite Nintendo franchises. I love it. Like, I didn't get into it straight away, despite being a GameCube kid. I never actually played Pikmin until like the Wii era.
Ah,
Uh, so like I didn't get Pikmin 1 or 2 on release or whatever. I picked them up when the new Play Control ones came out.
oh yeah, I remember the ones, the white
Yeah, so
case.
yeah, the white case, like the ones where like they literally just ported these GameCube games onto Wii with like with the motion controls. And I got both of these games like on the same day. I bought Pikmin 1 and 2 because I end up in like a Morrison's one day and found Pikmin 1 for dirt cheap. And I
They were
was
always
like,
pretty dirt cheap, like wherever you saw them.
these release like I think even day one these release were like 20 quid for like a new play control game. Like they're really good value for what they were. I mean, literally, they're just ports of GameCube games. Let's be honest. It's like it's not
Yeah,
like exactly bad. Like in an era where like the GameCube was literally like the Wii and the GameCube had like the same power, right? It's just like the Wii
I
just
think
had
so. Yeah.
yeah. Is like so it's one of those ones where it's quite easy for Nintendo to port these games over, and then just like rebrand them slightly, especially with like something like Pikmin, right? Where like obviously it had like a decent release for its first two games, but then obviously Smash Bros. Brawl came out. Obviously, you had like Olimar in there as well, like as a character. You get Pikmin representation, so it gives them a bit like, oh, maybe there's like a small chance that people might want to play this game from seeing representation in Smash Bros. Maybe that's one thought behind it. It's like the same thing with Kid Icarus, right? You know, like
Yeah, I think it was because it's
yeah,
just like reviving, bringing back characters from other things that are like, oh, who was that? Where were they from?
yeah, exactly. So it's like that kind of thing. So I got into those games. So I found Pikmin 1 for 10 quid in Morrison's, and I went to a Blockbuster next door. And then or it might have been, like, something else at the time, I can't remember. But, like, they were selling Pikmin 2 for the same price next door. Like, literally 2 shop and I was like, "Well, might as well get this one as well." Like, literally, like, these games which I like, on day 1 release, I would have had to pay 40 quid for, I'm getting for 20 quid. So I bought these 2 games, played Pikmin 1, wasn't a fan straight away because, I don't know how much of Pikmin 1 or 2 you've played, Nathan.
I've played more Pikmin 1 than I played 2.
Uh-huh.
But I played them when I was like 10. Or like the first one I played when I was like 10 at someone's house because I didn't own a GameCube. They just happened to have the game.
Mhm.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, this is a kid-friendly game. Here, play this." And I loved it because the little plant guys are cute. But
Yeah, yeah.
I never finished either of them because again I was playing at somebody else's house. So you just play as far as you can get or until you get bored, and then
Literally, yeah.
so yeah. Um, it's yeah. I didn't get very far at all actually.
Understandably, yeah. To be fair, Nathan, I'm pretty much in the same boat as you, though, in some ways for Pikmin One because I didn't really get that for own Pikmin One at all. I found it quite frustrating about the time limit that they put on you for
Oh yeah,
this
yeah.
because I played it and like I love the concept of the game. However, like with the concept of Pikmin One is Olimar crashes onto a planet and discovers these Pikmin, and he only has like a life support thing which lasts for 30 days. And within those 30 days, you have to like find all the parts of his ship to send him home again. Uh, the thing is, though, like a day in Pikmin is probably what, like about 20 minutes, half an hour,
Yeah, give
maybe.
or take.
Yeah. So, like I'm one of those people that like exploring everything. So I take my time with these sort of games. I like to see it, search every like nook and cranny. And so I took so much time on the first few days, and then I was just like, I know I'm supposed to find these parts, but now I'm like, I have a time limit on me where I'm supposed to like rush through it. I don't like to be rushed through these things, right? So, like the difficulty kind of thing, yeah, it's more difficult and it's more challenging in some ways, but it just wasn't my vibe. However, Pikmin 2 kind of does away with that kind of like time limit kind of thing. So you don't have to find all of like with Pikmin 2, you're back on the planet with Olimar and his comrade Louis, and you are basically hunting for treasure because the company you work for is like basically gone into bankruptcy. And they're like, oh, we need to
Oh.
save the company. So, and like, Olimar brings back a bottle cap from his first adventure in Pikmin 1. And like, it's worth like, I don't know, like a crap ton of money. Like, I don't know, like,
Wow. Pikmin
yeah.
and Fallout are from the same universe because they both use bottle caps as currency.
I mean, for all we know, it could be. Like,
Oh
what if like
god, could you
Pikmin's
imagine? Just that's not a great world for Olimar to be in.
the prelude to Fallout. This is what it is.
Culture
But
Boys headcanon.
God. Ugh. I mean, as someone that plays like quite a bit of Pikmin and not a lot of Fallout,
See, I'm the
it'd be
opposite. I've played a
interesting.
lot of Fallout. I'm played as much Pikmin, so between the two of us,
Yeah, equal amount of representation between two of us, I
yay.
guess. But yeah, like basically the whole thing is, yeah, they send you back to the planet and you have to collect a bunch of different items and
Ah,
treasures
see,
and
I didn't know that because
yeah.
when I was a kid, much like now, most likely just sat there and mashed A until I could play the game, and then not understand what I was doing because I just
Hmm.
skipped every piece of text that told me everything I needed to know. And
Yeah.
unlike you, I don't. As a kid, I didn't explore everything, so I
Okay,
sort of
yeah.
just went in a straight line. But like Pikmin's the kind of like a sandbox game, so it's not so much like, oh, that straight line will definitely take you to something.
Hmm.
So as a kid, I meandered around a lot in Pikmin 1 because I just sort of was like, I don't know where I'm going. The game won't tell me where I'm going, so I guess I'll just keep going this way until I can't anymore. Like I
Yeah.
must have just tried to brute force everything because it was just like I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the thing is with these games, it's a lot of time management because like you have to like get everything done by sunset, otherwise, and to get all your Pikmin back as well, like to the onion
Yeah,
and the
see, in
base and all that
2
kind of
that
thing.
really confused me.
Oh
Like
yeah,
as my kid brain was too dumb to understand like a single playable character in Pikmin 1, so Pikmin 2 was like, "Oh god, what? What?" I don't think
yeah,
I ever even like technically really beat like the tutorial of Pikmin 2. That's how little I
uh huh.
played of it because I was such a dumb kid in that respect.
Oh no, I think that's the one thing. Like Pikmin 2 has those like sort of quality of life things in some ways. In the fact that like obviously, yes, they've taken away the urgency. Oh, they've taken away the like, oh, you need to get this done in 30 days. So it's a lot more lax and you can take your time with it. But they've also given you a second character so you can get a lot more done, so you can cover more space with like so you can split your party into two and do different bits.
It's funny how that becomes such a common thing as Pikmins go on. Like, there's just like more characters, more controlling different characters, and this and this. Like, and yet the puzzles do sort of gradually get more complex
Mhm.
as the character
Yes.
count goes up.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing. I think I definitely like out of like all of the Pikmin games that come out, I mean, there's three right now, and four's obviously coming out. I think by the time this episode releases, it's gonna be out. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. We'll get into that later. But like out of the three games that are out at the moment, Pikmin 2 is my favorite just because again, there's not really any time constraints. Like Pikmin 3 has that, oh, you need to collect fruit and stuff to like
Yeah, so you
create
don't
like
starve.
so you don't starve. So there's that thing. So like it's not exactly as strict as the first one was, like, oh, you've got 30 days to do this. Like so it's a lot more lax.
But it sounds like it's more stricter than the second one, though.
Yes. So second one, there's no like strictness whatsoever. It's like take your time to do whatever you want. All you gotta do is work towards a goal of like getting this money back. And then like
Oh
you
man,
do
that
that sort of.
sounds so good. Like, I really enjoyed the third one. It's the only one I finished because it was on Wii U, and like I played it. I must have finished it 5 or 6 times. The third one,
Oh
um,
wow, yeah.
because I just love playing it. Like, and after doing the last day, it's like you either start again or you just keep doing that last level and running around with
Yeah.
fuck all else to do.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, the third one was great, but it was like you said, the whole like, oh, get as much food as you can. Don't want to starve, especially when
Yeah.
more characters come around, and it's like, oh no, you got to feed everybody, so
Yeah,
get even
exactly.
more food. So like that stressed me out.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
stress thing. That's the one thing of this game. Like, it's so cool. Like, I love everything about it, the aesthetic, the cuteness, everything. But it's the stress that puts on you. That's the one thing. Like, I don't know whether it's me as a gamer where like some people might find it a challenge. This is the one thing. It depends on what kind of player you are. I think depends on what Pikmin game you go find the best one, in my
I feel
opinion,
like
right?
I would like the second one as well. Then
Oh, I absolutely, as I said, I love the second one just because it takes away all of that pressure of like, oh, you got to get this done by this point. And it is just like, oh, like there's a Duracell battery up on this cliff. Go find it or find a way to get it. And you
oh
don't need to
man,
do it in that day. You can just like, okay, cool. I'm going to, or you might get distracted by some other thing that's going on and be like, oh, I want to focus on that actually. So there's so much that goes on around then. And obviously, you got a bunch of caves that you can explore. Like, obviously, Pikmin 3 and 4 are a lot more advanced compared to
yeah,
1 and 2. So there's a lot more in there with that kind of thing.
but that
But,
just makes me
like,
so excited for. I mean, I know, and we spoke about it on a previous episode, but like I know Pikmin 1 and 2 have already been re-released digitally,
mhm,
but like I cannot wait for the physical re-release on Switch of Pikmin 1 and 2. I think it's
yeah.
coming out next month or September or something.
It's in September, yeah.
But like hearing that now, I'm like, I kind of really want to play 2. Like, I obviously want to finish both of them because I never finished them
Mhm.
before. I like play them properly with a functional brain, um, or
Yeah,
semi-functional brain, I should
yeah.
say. But like, yeah, it just sounds like 2 is gonna be like a fun little like, oh man, look at this crazy like normal size like human item that
Yeah.
these crazy little guys are just taking back because it's weird.
One thing that, like, I think, like, it's like, although I again, I love to. I've liked that they've brought it over. I've been playing it a little bit here and there. But there is one change from the original GameCube version
Is it? Oh, okay.
where you know, like all like I said, there's batteries and like there's
Yeah.
jars of peanut butter and stuff like
I
that.
guess it wouldn't be like branded anymore.
So it used to be branded, but obviously they lost a lot of the licenses for that because obviously they wouldn't renew them or
Yeah.
anything. So like what used to be Duracell batteries are now just like a generic battery.
Oh, look, it's a battery. It's an
Yeah.
item.
Well, that's one thing as well because obviously they don't reference the names of Duracell or whatever,
It just has
but
the
th-
texture of it, like
but you know like what they call it though. They call like in Pikmin they always give weird names to things.
yeah.
Like so, like obviously, like the Pikmin are named after these pick carrots, which are from Holomar's own home planet. So like they won't call it, oh, here's a Duracell battery. They'll call it like a light, like a charger supply or something like that, like or some weird Pikmin-esque name to just call these things.
But
Like
then, like, it's funny that they do that because it would make sense. Like, if you went somewhere
yeah,
new and you had no idea, you just found this thing, you'd be like,
yeah.
well, this is kind of like this.
Yeah, it's like it's literally that. And what's so fun about Pikmin 2 is like collecting all those treasures is you get an encyclopedia of it as well. And each time you retrieve a treasure, it gives you a little rundown of what Olimar thinks it is. So it's
Oh,
so
nice.
it's like so that kind of thing is really funny just to read like all the descriptions of like the different items. Like it's so jokes and it's just like a fun little game. That's why I got so into it. Like and it's just wholesome as well. Like, I mean, I say
Well,
wholesome
yeah, besides the your little
because
plant guys can get eaten and
that is
they
the
make the little
worst
sound.
feeling.
Oh my
I
god.
even if like, look, okay, I know I'm skipping forward a little
Seeing that little
bit.
ghost and hearing that little
No,
ah.
bro, and like seeing your Pikmin counter go down one. Oh, mate, it's heartbreaking. Like, because
Yeah.
as someone that like hates to lose any kind of like, I'm like with Fire Emblem. I don't
Yeah.
play like permadeath because I want to keep the whole characters. Imagine what I'm like with Pikmin, bruv. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to restart the game if I lose one Pikmin, like, but it still hurts. It still hurts, man. Like I was playing some today and I lost one Pikmin, and bro, I was so disappointed in myself. I was like, it just so happened he got eaten by like one of the creatures. Just that, like
Yeah,
all the
but I
rest of them
mean, like,
survived, but one died. One got
sometimes it
eaten.
can't be helped. Like, it just
Hmm.
happens. But yeah, it is pretty sad. Again, it's that little noise, that little just like
Yeah. I think it's because the whole game is so innocent in some ways. That
yeah.
like and so like what I mean, like the Pikmin designs are the cutest fucking thing.
And everything's pretty colorful as well, if you think about it, like, and then it's just like that happens. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
I mean, it's a completely stark contrast when you play Olimar in Smash Bros, where you're just like
Oh yeah,
throwing all the Pikmin at each other. And they die like so quickly in that game. Like Smash Bros rules is different from like Pikmin rules. I'll tell you that. They've made the character of Olimar in Smash Bros very accurate to what the game is like. But boy,
yeah. The
I do not
context
care
is
for those
so
Pikmin in
like
that
really
game.
changes how you feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I just love the whole aesthetic of Pikmin. Even like the creatures where they're like you've got to defeat them and kill them and stuff like they're so like you said, they're so colorful. And like I don't know, like I think it's the original designs of like when Pikmin 1 and 2 originally came out on
Yeah.
the GameCube. Like I don't know if you ever saw like the claymation kind of style of those characters at all.
Yeah. 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 I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that because that's like that feels like the original design was made like with clay, and it looks so cool back then. Like you can see how like it's the bulborbs as well. Like these like simple looking like
Yeah.
creatures, like these bug things, which you obviously have to defeat, but they look cute as well. Like there's so many cute random creatures in this, and there's also some like horrifying ones as well.
Yeah. There's definitely some horrifying stuff at times. Mostly, I find it was like boss monsters or something, though.
Yes, but I think like there's like a certain sense of urgency when you face a boss monster in Pikmin. It's
Yeah.
like obviously this thing like means business, and like you're just throwing all of your Pikmin at this thing, trying to hope for the best, or like if there's like a flying one where it's like in the air somewhere, or like goes invisible because there's a whole bunch of different enemies like boss
Ugh.
monsters which have
Ah,
like these.
I,
I think it's like I was replaying Pikmin 3 like a couple months ago, and I think the first boss monster in that is one that turns invisible, right? Because
yeah, I
like
think so.
you're in a cave and you've got the electric Pikmin and you're trying to light up stuff and like I
See, for
believe.
Pikmin 3, I always remember the one on the it's like the sandy area,
Yeah.
and it's like a big centipede kind of thing that's got like the crystallized back or glass back,
Oh
and you got to throw the rock
yeah,
Pikmin,
the
and then you
rock.
have to throw
Yeah.
every other Pikmin after that. I remember that
Yes.
one, man.
Yeah.
Or like the very last boss. Obviously, I don't want to talk too much
Uh,
about it because it's like kind
yeah.
of spoilers, quote unquote, even though
Mm.
it's a game from 2013.
Yeah. I
You've
mean,
had
I
10
don't.
years, but
You can talk about. I don't think people are gonna be too fussed about it,
well,
but
that's the sad thing
yeah.
as well, really, because it's like, oh, you could talk about it because I feel like my excuse is, well, it's because it's Pikmin, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, that's sad.
Oh, but honestly, like the one thing about 3, right, is that I absolutely loved it. I played all the way through it. The one thing that annoyed me the most was that last boss monster
Yeah,
in Pikmin 3. Or was it? It's the plasma thing? What was it called? I
I
can't
don't
remember.
remember what it was, but it was like a gold blob
Yeah, gold
thing.
blob. But like it's that's the one thing with like all the boss monsters in Pikmin 3 is like all of them are like kind of like, oh, I can imagine that being a sort of a thing, like the centipede or like the
Yeah,
crab or stuff like that. Like, but that gold blob is just like a moving piece of gold.
it was just a
And you're
shiny
like,
Melmetal from
yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the best way to describe it, yeah. But like that thing, like, because that's like a literally you have to like escape it as well, because there's no way to defeat it, right? And you have to
What?
escape it
Yeah,
first.
that's the worst part though. Is like it moves really fast, and
Yes.
it's trying to get Olimar, but you have to clear out like the whole level to get back to your ship. But that's like a
Yes.
several day thing because you've got all these enemies, and then you have to try and like beat it so it drops
Mm,
Olimar before it regenerates and comes back. But like I remember every time I played it, I got to a point where I'd get there in like I don't know, let's say 20 days.
mm,
It'd still take me 5 days to clear, like 5 in-game days to clear that last level, and I'm like, this is
mm,
so long. How is it taking me like a fifth of my entire playthrough time,
yeah.
like in-game playthrough time, to just clear this one level?
It like ramped up so quickly, innit? Like that's the one thing, like, and I think that's the one thing, like, I'm gonna be honest here. I didn't actually finish Pikmin 3.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and that is because of that last monster. I think because I think I went through a point where like I lost a lot of my Pikmin during it.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, you know what? Like, I have to put this down for a bit. And I think it was at the time where, like, back in 2013, this was like I think there must have been other games coming out around the same time as well.
Probably.
Uh, yeah, but um, but yeah, like there was that was the thing. Like, so I haven't actually finished it, but I got quite far in it. That literally I got to the last level.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's a
yeah,
pain. That one's a pain.
yeah,
Like I have the Pikmin 3 again is the only one I have finished. And I have finished it multiple times, but still,
yeah,
that last level is by far the hardest
yeah.
out of any of
It's,
them.
yeah, because I think yeah, I loved the whole thing after, even if it's like the thing is with it being a Wii U game as well, is that like it's one of those few games that obviously got like well, it got ported over to the Switch and it was a decent enough
Yeah.
port as well. Like I mean, it added some extras and stuff, like nothing too mad. But like it's one of those games I did really enjoy playing, and like I can't remember if they used the gamepad too much either. I think it was just a map, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
It wasn't
was
too much,
pretty
yeah.
much just a map. I yeah, because you don't have inventory really. You just have Pikmin in it. So yeah, I think it was just a map, a mini
Yeah.
map.
It's handy to have, I guess, but like, I don't know, it's not necessary.
Not really, but I guess they have to justify it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got this freaking whole like tablet. What are you gonna do with it? You gotta do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole gimmick, and it's like, what? We're not gonna use it? Like, are you stupid?
Yeah, yeah.
Mainline
It's
from Nintendo, and they don't even use it. That would be bad.
yeah. But no, like I still enjoyed Pikmin 3. I really enjoyed it. I like that again. I think I even own the Hey Pikmin on
Oh
3DS as
wow,
well. I
I
own
was
that.
gonna get that, but I never got around to it.
I got it in a sale. You know, when like Argos had like they discounted a whole bunch of games, didn't they? I managed to get Hey Pikmin, and it is not a good Pikmin
Well, it's
game.
different. It's because
It's a side
yeah,
scroller. You know what me and you are like with side
it's like
scrollers.
a 2D platformer puzzler or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like the same way they made fucking Chibi Robo
I was
Ziplash.
gonna say it's kind of like
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, oh yeah, you just like take a decent Nintendo franchise which had something really unique about it and just put it as a side scroller. It's like it's lazy and it's not. I mean, obviously work's been put into it. Saying lazy is harsh, but like it's not something any of those like fans of the original franchise are going to enjoy. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know. Maybe they were just trying to push the like the new hype from Pikmin 3 for the franchise and see how they could do, but
Because that game released in 2016, 2017 as well.
I
So
think so,
so
yeah.
it's good 4 years after. And the thing is, I remember like getting so hyped after the release of Pikmin 3 because Miyamoto said, "Oh yeah, Pikmin 4's in development, and we were hoping to have it like come out soon." And that was like literally like very soon after Pikmin 3 released as well. Like, so when he
Yeah, I
said it's in
remember that.
development, it's like, wait, hold on, how far in development are you talking? Because he did that interview and then nothing happened for the longest time.
Well, that's the sad thing for fans about development. Even if you just started, like, concept and design, you can technically say it's in development because you started developing something.
Yeah.
So, he could have been at any point, like, any stage of the process. They could have literally just started that day and been like, "Yeah, it's in development."
And it's but this is the one thing with it as well. I mean, like, think about it, like just a comparison there. I think when you compare that to Metroid Prime 4, for example,
Yeah, true, at
which
least we are actually getting it, so
yeah, and they literally got yeah, so that's coming out. Well, it's out right now at the time of this release. But which I guess brings us on to Pikmin 4
Yes.
because yes, it's me and Nathan have played the demo at the
Yep.
moment. I don't know how far you got into the demo at all.
Finished it.
You finished it, yeah?
Yeah.
So, I got into day 3 of it. So I played through a lot of it. I was playing, like, here and there. It's really, really good demo. Um, Especially, like, since how much it's changed from the previous games as
Mm,
well. This is one thing, you know, I was talking about, with, like, the change up between 1, 2, and then 2 to 3. Like,
yeah.
I think especially if, like, they released say this is like 10 years ago and they released Pikmin 4 about a year or two later. Like, so 2015, they released Pikmin 4. Guaranteed, I don't think it would have been as good as what they've done now because
No,
you
I
can
don't
tell
think
that
so.
there's so there's so much in this one which is so different compared to the other like any other Pikmin game. Like
There's
the
a
the
it
camera angle for one, like
Yeah, there's a it's funny enough though, like, it doesn't feel like massive, massive changes, more like quality
mm,
of life things, but, like,
I think that's the best way
they
to
feel
describe it.
so
Yeah,
big because it's
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
for example, in the demo, one thing I've always wanted to be able to do is easily just tell all my Pikmin all at once, like a group of them,
Hmm.
to just go off and do the one thing. But
Yeah.
you couldn't really ever do that
Mm.
easily, you'd always have to throw them all. Now there's just the charge horn,
Yes.
and you can just send, like, all your red Pikmin
Mhm.
off to go lift that thing whilst you run around.
Mhm.
Like, it's something simple as that.
Yeah, man. Like, there's, like, so many like, even, like, what is it? The moving your base as well.
Yeah.
Like, that is, like, such
How
a
have we not
like,
had that before?
like, considering how big the Pikmin maps are as well. Like, it's one thing, like, it could take, like, half a day to get to the other end of the map. When you've got a boss battle, that gives you so much less time to do it within the time
Yeah,
frame that they
exactly,
give
but
you.
now you might be able to move it, like, round the corner,
Yeah,
providing
exactly, and
there's a thing there, and now you're like, "Oh, you're on its doorstep." That's
yeah,
wicked.
and then you can prepare so much more, you can get yourself ready for it, like, whatever you need to do. And, like, it's so cool, like you said, quality of life changes is the thing we're getting with this. Plus, we have, Ice and Glow Pikmin in this one as well.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
interested to see how the night cycle stuff goes with that,
Yeah,
uh,
same, right?
because, like, obviously, we've never played at night in a Pikmin game before. And that is like, what's that gonna be like? Is it gonna be more terrifying? Because I feel like it's gonna be more terrifying.
I mean, they make it sound like it will be, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
all the creatures are gonna be, stronger or
Mm.
more violent or whatever. Okay, not violent, I guess aggressive
Yeah.
is the correct
Aggressive,
word.
yeah. Because like that's the one thing you always like leave the planet before nightfall because obviously like that's when the creatures are like out in full force.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He's like, oh, I've got to get into my ship by this time, or I'm gonna lose Pikmin, or like something's gonna happen, blah blah blah. And there's always that sense of urgency in Pikmin games to get back to your ship by nightfall. And at this point, they're like, yeah, you're gonna play at nighttime now. What you were supposed to be scared of in those other games, you're actually gonna be playing during that time now. And I'm like, should I be worried? Like, I feel like I should be worried.
It's funny because, like, in this game, I feel more powerful. You know, when it's like,
Mm.
"Oh, you got a dog now."
Yes.
And you know when you think, "Oh, okay, yeah, on paper they just gave you a doggo, a nice companion. It's just another wholesome whatever. It might not do anything." And then you play and you're like, "Yo, this dog is like the most useful thing
so useful, right? It's like, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, is this something I
I
really
know,
care
right?
about?
You know when you think, "Oh, great,
Yeah,
just another thing to
like,
try and sell merch."
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it's like the Poochie and Woolly
Yeah,
World.
that exactly that, right? It's just like,
Yeah,
"Oh, great, another another mascot for merch." And then it's like, no, because the dog, Bochi, I believe, or
Ochi.
Ochi, that's it, right? Ochi's worth 3 Pikmin, and you can upgrade it so that it's
Yep.
worth more than that, and you're like, "Dude, screw I don't that's cool. Just send the dog
It's
off
so good. It's so good at it, and like the
to pull in it."
Doctor, and again, like they've introduced like different ways of getting around maps as well. The fact that you can like, obviously, like you said, you're like Ochi to like charge into vases and stuff like that, or like pull out a potted plant, so you can
Or just
actually,
jump on its back and all your Pikmin
yeah,
jump onto, and then you just run around and you can jump up to higher
exactly.
areas and stuff. It was cool.
It's so good, isn't it? Like I'm looking forward to when this game actually releases because I'm so hyped for this.
Oh,
I was
bro,
so hyped
same.
before when the trailer drops, and now I'm so hyped like when the demo was available, and like, oh, I'm so
I'm
hyped
so
to actually
glad I
play
played the
through.
demo though, because now I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, it won't be as confusing when I get the game.
yeah, absolutely. I think like I want to know more about the like what happened to Olimar as well, because in this situation, like
Yeah,
Olimar's gone.
can we talk about that? How is this guy constantly in trouble?
Yeah, he's like a veteran space
He's only
space
had one game
explorer.
out of 4 where he's not in trouble. Because 2
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
about,
Two,
right?
he's the
So
one. Yeah,
1, 3, and 4, he's just like, "What are you doing?"
I think it's like he rides that line of like, oh, he's like because in four, everyone holds him to such high esteem as well. They're like,
Yeah,
oh, the great space explorer Olimar, and like, yeah, sure, he's come back from this planet back a few times and stuff, but like, yeah, he's gotten himself into a lot of trouble in these fucking situations. And like, sure, he records a lot of stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Another game you rescued him, now you're rescuing him again, and this time a
Yeah.
whole massive team
Yeah.
has had to go and get him, not just like get discovered by this small 3-man squad,
Yeah.
right? Who had nothing to do with him, by the way, in 3.
No. Oh,
Now in
yeah, of course they
4,
didn't, yeah.
yeah, they were just another like group.
Yeah, they
But in
just came across
4,
his notes and stuff, yeah, sure.
4 is a whole squad has come to get him, from what I
And then
understand.
the rescue squad messed up. So, the
Yeah,
rescue squad that went to save Oliver just needed to end up being rescued, so you're rescuing the rescue squad, which is just like, "What?" And then, there's a whole bunch of other people, like, when the game comes out, innit, like, when you connect it online, there's, like, other, like, online
yeah.
characters that you can go and save as well. So there's basically what I'm hearing is, like, this planet is awful and, like, so many people need rescuing.
Well,
It's up to you to rescue all these
it's
people.
doesn't that mean we're the joke? Because that planet is our planet, and so our planet is
Yeah.
awful, like
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna deny it, there's a lot of things wrong
uh,
here.
I mean, yeah, it is, but at the same time yeah, seriously though, I don't know how dude is revered by everybody, but he's also, like, somehow one of the worst spacefarers ever because he keeps getting himself in
Yeah.
situations. And I'm like, okay, once I understand, twice maybe I can let that slip, right? But the third time, Odomar, really,
Yeah. You need to
really,
do better, you need to do better, Oliver.
yeah, exactly. I think you need to go back to Space Academy, bro.
Oh, man. I just wanna know why he's in that house. Like, I wanna know more about that. I wanna know more about the house because, like, obviously, like, Pikmin's been set outdoors a lot of the time. Mine is
Yeah,
like, oh, yeah, there's, like, underground stuff and, like, some other, like, random side stages which don't really give much context. Like, but now you're actually in someone's house and exploring around and stuff. So I'm like, what's the crack here? I wanna know. I wanna know
I don't know.
what's going on
Maybe
in the
maybe
house.
some kid found Olimar and was like, "Oh, look, what's this cute little thing?" and then took him home.
Oh, so it's a Toy Story scenario.
Maybe, maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
If you was a kid and you saw like a little like
spaceman shit, yeah.
spaceman running around, wouldn't you be like, "Oh, cool"?
Yep, completely true, yeah. I'd be like, "What the hell's this guy?" They're tiny, innit? So,
Yeah, they're tiny, but not like so small you couldn't see them, I guess.
no, it's true, yeah. Because I think, like, what I loved about, like getting the physical copies of Pikmin 1 and 2 back in the day as well was that like the game manuals when they used to sell them
Yeah.
like in the old school games, like there was actually like a size chart of how tall Olimar is compared to other items and stuff like that.
Ah.
So I believe like Olimar himself is like the size of a coin.
Wait, but what coin?
Like probably about like what I assume it's like about 500 yen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like maybe like
Uh,
yeah, like kind of standard coin size, you
that's
know what I
an
mean?
alright size coin. I think that's a maybe the size of a pound coin, maybe?
Because think about it as well, it takes about 20 Pikmin to lift up a Duracell battery.
Yeah, so they're
So
not like incredibly small,
yeah,
but
like they'd be noticeable. It'd be like the kind of like a big ant on your desk, basically.
yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
it'd
I
be
was
like.
just thinking.
Yeah. Now, Onibor is sizable, but obviously the Pikmin are half the size of him. So like, yeah, it's like a bunch of ants and this little bigger, like little tiny spaceman walking around with him. I would be absolutely terrified though if I did see this going on in my house. Like, it'd be one of the things like, the fuck is that? And I like, do I need to call pest control or something? Because it feels like, yeah, the thing is, in the games, they're cute, right? And they're like, oh, that's quite cute. But you don't know what these things are that will walk around your house, moving your things
Well,
around,
chances
you
are
stealing your batteries.
you probably would be like, "Fuck, they're ants." Like, fucking ants are in I now that you said they're like big ants, I just can't get the Archer reference out of my head. Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants.
Yes, that's exactly this. It's actually Archer's house. That's what you're doing.
Oh god.
He's in
I
Archer's
feel sorry
house.
for them more than anything else. If you're around Sterling Archer, that's a lot of glass and stuff getting
Yeah,
smashed on
yeah.
the floor, like a lot of alcohol around, yeah.
A lot of things you bring home for treasure, though, in some ways. So.
I don't know if I want any of his treasures.
Yeah.
He gets up to all sorts of shenanigans, like
Yes.
I don't know how much you want to bring that back, especially when you're a tiny person, like a microscopic almost person, and you can't
Yeah.
sanitize that shit.
Yeah, but yeah, that is a thing. Oh man. But yeah, that is like a pretty much rundown of all the Pikmins, basically. Is there anything else you want to say at all? About these anything that we've missed out on any of these games, Nathan, that you thought was worth bringing up at all?
Um, if you haven't tried them before, please do. To be fair,
Mm. Yeah,
it
I mean the demo's out right now. This is one
yeah.
thing for Pikmin 4. Give it a shot. Like
I
I
mean,
really enjoyed it. Like,
I guess it does. That really does need to be said. Then, like we already said, the episode will release most likely after Pikmin 4's out. But if you've ever been interested, please go and download the demo.
mm,
It's a
yes,
wholesome good time.
yeah. Like all the Pikmin games are like a good laugh, man. I'd recommend any of
The
them.
best thing is, like most modern demos, once you finish it, if you want to get Pikmin 4, you can transfer the save data from the demo. So you don't even have to start from scratch. Isn't that good?
I forgot to even say actually, I played Pikmin Bloom for the longest as well. That's another side game that I play. Obviously,
Eh,
it's from Niantic, innit? I know you weren't too keen on it.
it's not a game. I just don't understand how that's
Yeah,
a game, quote
yeah.
unquote.
It's yeah, it's a looser sense. But I played it for a bit, and I used to collect a whole bunch of Pikmin. Like it was more collectathon for me. I wanted all my Pikmin with different outfits, so I
Like,
was working towards those gold pots.
I
That's the
think
main
that's
thing, at
the
least.
thing, the most egregious thing that got me is that they call it a game.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand how it was a game because, like, the things I'd learned at university for game design, I was like, this does not technically hit what I was taught as the basis of what a game is.
Mm.
It was just sort of software. So yeah.
Still preferred it more than Hey Pikmin though for me. So
Hey, I never
that's
played Hey Pikmin, so I don't
yeah.
know.
But yeah, that was another thing. Like, and obviously, like when any people that do play Pikmin Bloom, I guess there's a little
Oh
thing you
yeah,
get
there's
at
a
the end of
thing you can
demo.
get, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you made me think of it when you're talking about demo. It's like, oh yeah, crap, you can carry
They
on
tried to
data
push
and
that
get more
really
stuff.
hard, actually. I think I got
Yeah,
that like message like twice because I think you get
yeah,
it
yeah,
once when you start up the demo and once at the end
yeah,
where they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, Pikmin Bloom, like scan the
yeah,
QR code and you get your thing," and it's like, "All right,
yeah.
stop reminding me you made this thing." Okay,
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, yeah. I mean, if they get the chance to push it, they will, won't they?
I mean, I guess they
Um,
kind of have to. How many people actually play that?
I think a lot. Oh, that's the one thing. I can't imagine that much more because like the Harry Potter one got shut down, didn't it?
Yeah, and that was way more popular. So like, how is you know, I don't want to question it because, in all honesty, I really don't care. So
Yeah.
it's one
That's
of
fair.
those,
That
when
is
you
it.
just ask a question, but you don't really want to know the answer because you don't give a shit either
Yeah,
way.
I get what you mean. Like, it's one of those ones. Like, I think it lost me a little bit. You know, when like those like free mobile games end up being like, oh, we need your money now, and it's like, okay, it was fun while it lasted. It was like now because the problem is like like on Pokemon Go,
Yeah,
like it asks you like when you got like multiple Pokemon that are lower level,
yeah,
you don't need all of them, do you? So you end up transferring them for like
yeah.
other ones. But in this game, right, it's like you have a certain amount of Pikmin inventory, and I think I got up to 400 Pikmin, right? And it's like, oh, you have no more room for Pikmin. You have to get rid of some if you want new ones, or you have to pay for expansions. And like I said earlier in this episode, I do not like getting rid of my Pikmin. Like you can tell me anything, I am not getting rid of a single Pikmin, and that's what made me fall off the game. Is the fact they tried to make me get rid of some of my Pikmin. I was like, no, refuse. Like I don't know.
Uh,
I don't care how much you ask me to pay. I'm not doing that. I like no. That's why I end up being like, nah, I'm not playing this no more.
I mean, fair enough. It's a very valid point. A very valid reason to drop a freemium game.
I did not enjoy that. Do not ask me to sacrifice my children.
Oh god, it's escalated quickly.
But yeah, that was the thing. But like you said, Pikmin 4 demo's out now. Please try it. Like, obviously, it's a great way to get into the series. Give it a shot
Yeah,
before like the game's out now. Like, try and test it. It might be a thing. It might not be a thing. Like, at least you're giving it a shot. But yeah. Anything else? Like, you go. What are you most looking forward to about playing Pikmin 1 and 2 when it comes out, Nathan?
just to actually get to experience them properly.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, like that's it. It's just that I get to, because I still have my. I think at some point I bought the original GameCube copy of Pikmin to play on my Wii,
Oh
and
yeah.
I just never got around to it. So
Mm.
like, to be able to just play them properly and like comprehend what's going on and paying attention enough to figure out the solutions, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because again, I just sort of like stumbled around the area as a kid and then gave up
Yeah.
because I didn't understand what was going on. So I think to be able to just enjoy them as games,
hmm
to be fair, for the
Yeah.
first time, really, because it's been such a long time that it basically would be like the first time.
Yeah. Again, I could only recommend playing these games as well. There's so much I'd say to play. But yeah, I mean, if there's anything else, Nathan, you're good. If you want to talk about anything else before we wrap this up,
No, just
no.
support Pikmin so we can get some more, man.
Yeah,
It's an underrated
more.
franchise, honestly. It's really sad. I like that's it. It's just really sad that it's so underrated because it's quite good and they're fun. Minus the bits where we said they were stressful.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing. Like each of these Pikmin games that are out, like there's a different way to play on each of them, and it's like it's quite cool how, like, out of all three, I guess four of them now as well. Like, there's so many different ways to play Pikmin and so many levels of difficulty. Everyone's gonna have a different favorite one. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is they're all actually available to play on the Switch.
Yep.
That is bad that a whole franchise, like all the games apart from Hey Pikmin and Pikmin Bloom, are available to play
Yeah, I
on the
mean we
Switch
don't
right
talk
now.
about those ones.
The
We don't
main
count
line,
those
the
ones.
main
Yeah.
line
The
games, the
main
main
Pikmin. You
line.
can play them on your Switch right
Yeah,
now.
every single one. That is so cool. That is such a cool thing in general. But yeah, so like if you get into one game, be like, I want to play another one. Right, they're all
Do
available
it.
for you to get. Yeah. Yes. But before we start gushing anymore, let's wrap this episode up. Thank you again for listening, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notified when a video comes out. Check us in the description below. We've got links to our Twitter, all our podcast platforms, all that jazz. If you prefer listening on those and see what we tweet. Yeah. And that about wraps up, guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye bye.
Bye.